Be sure to follow Godzilla on Letterboxd. And if you don't, I will steal your birthday cake. Anyways, enjoy the video.
Hello my fellow kaiju fans, I'm Godzilla and welcome back to the Triple G cast. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very special day, because on the 3rd of November, for 67 years ago, aka in 1954, Gojira arrived in theaters in Japan. And you know what that means? It's Godzilla's birthday today, aka Godzilla Day, the 3rd of November, so happy birthday, G-Man. Oh, and another thing I have to mention, though this isn't nearly as important as Godzilla Day, is that my birthday is also today. Yeah, that's right, me and Godzilla have the same birthday date. So I guess, you could say I was destined to become a Godzilla fan, I guess. I mean, he's still a lot older than me, but we still have the same birthday date, so I mean, that's kinda cool, right? Anyways, since it's Godzilla's anniversary today, and it's the anniversary of the original Gojira, I thought, why not take a look at Gojira from 1954? However, by doing this, I'm starting something new on the Triple G casts, a series review. Basically, it will be a thing where I'll start with one movie and then I'll review the other movies in that franchise as well. So that's something I haven't done on this the Triple G cast before. I've only done singular movies and that's it. But now, I'll be starting to look at entire series. Now, with Godzilla in particular, I'm only going to be looking at the Showa movies for the time being, because if I looked at all the Godzilla movies in the next Triple G cast episodes, that would be like the next 40, so I'm not going to do that. Also, there might be like 1 or 2 Triple G casts that will kind of be like in between my Godzilla ones, that will be on other things. That isn't guaranteed, but there might be, so just make sure to just remember that. Oh, and one final thing I have to mention, I will not be including any of the different cuts of any of these movies in this series review. I'll only be taking a look at the original Japanese cuts. So, no Godzilla King of the Monsters from 1956, for example. And the reason why I'm not doing those are because they are mostly just the same as the Japanese ones, just not as good. So it wouldn't really be fun to review both the Japanese one and the American one, because, I don't know, I just feel like that would waste time, honestly. Anyways, sorry for this long ass intro, but now let's get on to the movie information. After a quick little spoiler warning. I'm pretty sure you've all already seen Godzilla 1954, but just in the small case, just the small chance that you haven't, this is your spoiler warning, alright? Anyways, now let's go on to the movie information. Godzilla 1954, aka Gojira, came out in 1954 and is directed by the legend himself, Ishiro Honda. The cast includes Akira Takarada, Momoko Kochi, Akihiko Ihara, and Takashi Shimura in the main roles. Sorry if I butchered any of those names. The movie has a 96-minute runtime, and now for a quick plot synopsis from Letterboxd. Japan is thrown into a panic after several ships explode and are sunk near Odo Island. An expedition to the island, led by paleontologist Professor Kyohei Yamanei, soon discovers something more devastating than imagined, in the form of a 50-meter tall monster whom the natives call Gojira. Now the monster begins a rampage that threatens to destroy not only Japan, but the rest of the world as well. So now, with all of that out of the way, let's get on to my opinions about the movie itself. And as usual, I'll go through my 5 bullet points. The story, the characters, the kaiju stuff, the music, and then finally the other things I want to talk about. So let's start with the story, and the story in this movie, it takes itself very seriously and is very dark. However, I personally like that. I like that the story is very serious, and I like the fact that it's so damn depressing and dark. And this is mostly because the story of this movie is very much a powerful warning about the use of nuclear weapons and nuclear warfare. And it's so impactful, it's so well done, and the dark tone just, it complements the themes of this movie and the messages it wants to convey perfectly. It's one of the few Godzilla movies that has a very serious story, and because of that, not only is it really good on its own, but it's also really refreshing once you start watching the other Godzilla movies. Overall, the story here, I mean, it's coherent, there's not really that many plot holes that I can nitpick on, and again, I like how dark it is, I really do. I think it's really unique and really powerful to see such a dark and serious story in a Godzilla movie. With of course the series having taken a very ridiculous turn in the upcoming Showa movies, this one definitely has one of the best stories out there. It's really impactful, the messages are very well handled, and overall the story here is just fantastic. Nothing to really complain about. And then there are the characters, and I have to say, I like the characters in this movie. I've always been of the belief that a kaiju movie doesn't necessarily need complex and deep characters to be good, it just needs some good kaiju stuff. But I do think a kaiju movie having great human characters can elevate it from just a decent or passable one to one that is legitimately just memorable and really good. And I think that's the case for this movie. I mean, first of all, the acting is good. Like, let me just say that. The acting here is good for the most part. There are a couple of scenes where the acting is a little wooden, but it's not too much to complain about. For the most part, the acting is good in this movie. Now, as for the characters, I found Hideto Ogata and Emiko to be solid main characters. You know, they had more depth than other main characters in the Godzilla franchise, and you did feel for them. Like, you actually wanted them to actually be fine by the end of the film. So, I think they were pretty decently done. They aren't super deep or anything, but they really do get the job done, and you do care for them, so I think they were good. Also, I liked Kyohei Yamanei, which is the guy who is the paleontologist. I liked how he had a different look than everyone else at the situation. He didn't want them to kill Godzilla, he instead wanted them to keep it alive and then use it for research. And I think that's interesting to have a character that has a different view on what to do than the others. So I just think that was interesting. And yeah, overall he was a decent character. He's also pretty memorable, and he does give that last warning in the final part of the film, which is still really like impactful and haunting. So overall I liked him as well. Though, easily, the best character in this movie is Dr. Cyrus Alva. He is not just the best character in this movie actually, but I think he's one of the best characters in the Godzilla franchise. Because I love how torn he is in terms of what he's trying to do. Like, I love the fact that he has a weapon, he created a weapon that is capable of killing Godzilla, but he doesn't want to use it because he's afraid that it will get into the wrong hands, and that people will start using it for war. Just like they did with the nuclear and atomic bombs. I think that's really clever, and I really like how torn he is on whether to use it to destroy Godzilla and let it possibly get out into the public, or to just keep it there but let Godzilla keep rampaging about. I think that's really unique, and I really like his internal struggle with it. And so when he finally decides to go along and actually, you know, use the oxygen destroyer in the end, and you realize that he's not only going to burn all the papers and all the research, but also sacrifice himself in the process, you really feel that, and it's really impactful. And when he finally does sacrifice himself, god damn it, man, I just can't help but feel sad about it. It's truly a sad but pretty heroic death. So overall, Dr. Cyrus Alva, absolutely fantastic character, really loved him. And that was pretty much it for the characters. I mean, there's some other, like, side characters, but they're not really worth mentioning here. They're fine, but these were the only ones who I feel like are really memorable. But overall, though, I have to say, the characters in this movie are good. I don't really have much complaint about them. They're just solid. Now for the kaiju stuff. And of course, the kaiju in this movie is the G-Man himself, Godzilla. Now this Godzilla looks very menacing to me. In most shots, that is. And I think that's mainly due to the black and white. It just gives an eeriness to the shots with him, and I really liked it. I thought it was quite good. And that's also why I gave it an honorable mention in my top 5 scary moments in Godzilla movies lists. Now, the Godzilla suit, Does look a bit derpy in certain shots though, I won't lie. There are some scenes where it just looks ridiculous. There's some parts with the head and it doesn't look good. It looks way too derpy. But those scenes are far and few between, and for the most part it looks pretty good. However, the main reason why I like the Godzilla in this movie is because he doesn't really have a character here. He's more of just a force of nature. He's actually just a metaphor for nuclear weapons. He's an unstoppable force that can't be taken down with military fire or anything. You just have to avoid him. And I think that's so cool. He's just unstoppable, and he doesn't seem to have any remorse for the destruction he causes. Or at the very least, it's shown that way. He's less of a creature and a character, and more of a metaphor in this movie, and I think that's really interesting. And of course it makes sense with the whole Hiroshima thing. And I think that makes this Godzilla extra scary, because it just feels like pure evil. It feels like pure destruction and just malice, and I really like it. And of course, the scenes with Godzilla are, of course, the rampage scenes. There'll always be some fascination with watching those kinds of scenes. Though the scenes themselves aren't that much fun because, well, again, they're pretty dark and they show pretty horrifically how, the realistic consequences of these scenes. So they're less fun and more just impressive, I guess, or engaging, I guess I should say. They work more on a sort of impactful level rather than an enjoyment level. But that's what the movie is going for, so I can't complain about that. Not at all. And I think the scenes are very well done with Godzilla. And overall, this Godzilla is really different from the other ones, but it also works extremely well. So, well done. I really like this version of Godzilla. And then there's the music. And this is not going to be a very long segment, because the music in this movie is fantastic. It's all iconic. Godzilla's theme. What do I even have to say about it? It's iconic as hell and it's freaking excellent. There's a reason why it's been used in almost every single Godzilla movie after this one. It's just amazing. It's incredible. And then I also have to mention Frigate March. I think Frigate March is honestly kind of underrated. I think it's really memorable, it's really good, and it's a really fun contrast to the rest of the score, because the rest of the score is either trying to invoke this sense of dread in you with this music during the Godzilla scenes, or it's more sad and depressing, like the music they use in the aftermath scenes of Godzilla's attack. But the Frigate March, it's just really upbeat and kind of gives you this, it kind of pumps you up, so I really like Frigate March. I think it's kind of slept on. But anyways, I don't have that much to say about the music here, because what am I supposed to say? Everyone knows that the soundtrack in this movie is fantastic. Everyone knows the original Godzilla score. So that's it. That's it for the music on my part. And then for my final bullet point, we have other things I want to talk about. And I have a couple of things. First off, this movie is shot beautifully. The cinematography in this movie is top notch. Of course, the regular scenes with the regular people are shot fine, but I'm specifically talking about the scenes with Godzilla. I really like how they oftentimes shoot it from the perspective of a regular person. It really helps enhance just how huge this monster is and just how terrifying the situation would be. I also think the black and white enhances the cinematography. It makes the scary scenes look even more scary. So overall, the cinematography in this movie is just fantastic. Not really too much to complain about there. And then, of course, I have to talk about the scenes that realistically portray an attack like this happening in the real world. Specifically, the scenes with the mother telling her children that they will be with their father in heaven, and the scene where the little girl is crying after her mom passes away from the Godzilla attack. These scenes are so powerful because they feel real. These would be actual things that would happen in the real world. They are super realistic and super dark, and they really give you this new look on a Godzilla attack. Because most other Godzilla movies, when Godzilla's rampaging about, it's more for spectacle, but in this movie, it has consequences for civilians, for innocents, for not just men, but also for women, and even children. And having children in both of these scenes, actually I think that enhances it. It makes it more sad and just dark, and it really shows you how serious and just how terrible an attack like this would be in the real world. These scenes are also very well acted though. I mean, that child in the second scene with the one where she's crying, my god, that's some fantastic acting right there. And it's so impactful, and I love it. And also, that's one thing that I'm kind of disappointed hasn't been brought up in any other Godzilla movies. Godzilla's radiation. Like, if the Godzilla attacked, yeah, a lot of people would die in the attack, but also a lot of people would die from just the atomic, just the toxins coming off Godzilla. So I really like that they include that here, and I really wish they would have done that in other movies as well, because it makes sense. It makes sense that the radiation would be a problem afterwards as well. So I really like that. It really, again, it's realistic and I really like it. Anyways though, that's it for the other things I want to talk about, and with that we're done with my 5 bullet points. So now for the conclusion. Overall, this movie is a masterpiece. It isn't perfect though. I mean, it has some weird editing choices here and there. The acting can be wooden at times, and the Godzilla suit looks kinda derpy at some points. However, I just don't care about that, because everything else is done so fantastically. And I think this is objectively the best Godzilla movie ever made. It's not my favorite one, it's very close, but it's not my favorite. But I do think it is, just from a film standpoint, just from a filmmaking standpoint, it is the best. So overall, I will give Gojira, or Godzilla 1954, a 10 out of 10, without a doubt. This movie is amazing. I'm guessing you've all already watched it, but again, if there's that small chance that you haven't, you have to watch this movie. It is fantastic. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and be sure to look out for the next Triple G cast video where I'm gonna talk about Godzilla raids again, so that's gonna be fun. Anyways guys, that's been it for the video. If you liked it, then be sure to give it a like. And of course, as always, what do you guys think of this movie? Be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below telling me about it. And then of course, if you enjoy my content and you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications for whenever I upload a new video. Anyways guys, that's been it for this video. Happy birthday Godzilla, and to me, I guess, but that's not as important. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.